to hell, Jason. I'm here to return the favor.
I'm feeling strange, trapped in the grave. All alone, I'm riding my own skin. So see as I say, a choking restraint. The perfect plane lays down my own name. Girls rising. Girls rising. The scars remain, a deeper disdain. A blood field, blinded response. From here I cling to the ones that remain. Exile without reason. The time to catch the feelings we feel this way. Someone is clear to bow. We're building the power, strengthening the arm, and building the wall. Welcome to your demonstration.
People that think the paradise something. Fuck!
What is going on, everybody? We are live, the Spawn Review, episode 32. I was so excited, and I was just chilling out to the music. I almost forgot to put everybody into the online studio, so it would started with nobody on, and that would have been a great disaster. But here we are. We made it, and we have a very, very special guest right here in the middle. It is like what we like to say here on the show, because we put the respect on the man's name.
Mm-hmm.
We have Brett motherfucking Booth on the show. You can't go without having that name. That's it. It's just what we've given you. How's it going, Brett? How you doing, man?
Good. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing fantastic. Doing
And
fantastic.
Is it 362 or 361?
361. That just came out last week. Was it last 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
2 weeks.
I thought you said 362, and I was like, crap.
Well, you could tell us what goes on with that one too.
I didn't want to give away. I didn't want to give anything away.
We'll take all the insider information. That'll work. As always, joining us, we have the Gooch with us. The Gooch, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm just in the middle of doing things, as you know. But I'm happy to be here and join this guy right here because he's absolutely killing it on Spawn. Man, I love it. I love it so much. It's like that 90s. This is what we all wanted again. So what's up, Brett? Good to see you again.
Yeah, nice talking to you.
We also have Sean, the cutest little guy here, co-host on Odd and Stuff and Appreciating Comic Book Art Live and the Spawn Review. How's it going, Sean?
Doing great. I was so excited, so inspired that Brett motherfucking Booth is going to be on the show with us. That I've been working on pages all day. It's just fueled by whatever fancy word I just don't know, but it's just an inspiring day that's going on right now, and I can't wait till we dig into the show.
There it is, right there, fueled by inspiration.
Yeah.
Look at me, I'm a fucking scholar.
We also have Paul Thayer on. What's going on, brother? How you doing, man? Here from vacation. How's everything going?
It's good. I'm trying to get a tan going, and then cutting things short today. We made it an early day at the vacation, and to get onto this podcast, to the artist, to the best monthly book you can pick up in comics. That's what we've been telling everyone, and it's the book I've been getting for the last 30, 40 issues. So it's great to have you here.
Hell yes. Zach. Got Zach doing his drawing like he always does. What are you working on anything for the show today? Or are you just working on art in general? And do we get to see?
I'm working on Batman Spawn, just trying to catch up a little bit more on that piece from like a week or two ago. I just been pressed for quite a few number of commissions, but I was putting on cologne in the bathroom. I was getting ready, and Bria was like, what?
I don't think Brett can smell you.
But the thing is, I was getting ready, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm getting on a show, and I'm about to meet Brett Booth for the first time." She's like, "You guys are on a stream. How is he gonna smell you?" I was like, "Oh shit, you're right."
He's like, "I gotta get all good looking."
This guy's shaving his shaft and putting baby powder
Yeah.
down there. Jesus Christ, this ain't a date.
Well, I did Manscape. It's
I'm not gonna lie, I shaved yesterday, but I want to say hi to the chat real quick, and then we're gonna get going because we're gonna try to keep the show to an hour. So Brett's got things to do. If you guys have questions in the chat, please get them in there. If we get to them, I will definitely bring them up. If not, we'll have Brett on again at some point. But Mark Pangren,
I'll say it, Joe. If you want a question, super chat. At least.
I like that.
Yeah,
yes. If you want one specifically answered, super chat. I like that. Mark Pangren was number one in the chat and number one in our hearts. Great to see you, brother. He says, Brett, mother effing Booth. We also have a member of the channel, Rick Saylor, says Brett motherfucking Booth in the house. Hell
What's up, brother?
Hail Allure is here. Great to see you.
Hail.
Lark Bark, what's going on, man? Let's do this. We have Maya. I'm gonna assume that the MF stands for Barton, so we're just gonna say motherfucking Barton. Like that. What's going on, Maya? We have a member of the channel, Heath Ward, in the house. What's going on, brother?
Sorry,
as well as Dennis Kelly, our resident colorist here, says hail Joe, Sean, the Gooch, Paul, and hail Brett motherfucking Booth. See, I love how we've caught that on.
I know, right?
I mean, that's all us. I love it. Yeah. Pizza's in the house. Great to see you, man.
What's up, Pizza?
We also have Twisted Dream says, Mr. Booth, I've only read one issue of Spawn. The crowd here got me into Gunslinger. I owe it to them. Hell yeah, brother. Appreciate you guys. Tank Ferret's in the house. Great to see you, Tank Ferret. And Mr. Primetime Mark Polton himself.
How did you write such a great book and you just can't read super chats?
I was trying to go through it fast, right? I tried to read fast and just trip over my words. Guys, I'm going to skip all of the intro videos and all that kind of stuff I do for everybody for the chat. You'll understand why, because we're trying to keep the show a little bit more organized and to the point. Also, Eric, who is one of the experts, I would say, on Spawn, who is always joining us here on the Spawn Review, is jumping in here. Says, hell yeah, Brett is a great Spawn artist. Loved his Backlash art, and he has some of the best Flash art. His Spawn versus Speedster focus is dope too. Hell yeah, brother. Thank you for joining us. All right, Brett, I'm going to get this kick started off here by personally, basically saying, I said this before we went live, and I'll just say it again. This show is basically spawned, pun intended, because of you and taking over Spawn 350. It was one of those things where we loved Gunslinger, was following it, was reading it, dug it, and then got the news that you're going to be on the main title. And then picking up 350 and reading it, it was just a rejuvenation of excitement for the title of Spawn, but also what you brought back to it visually, the artistic aspect of how Spawn should look. And for the first time, I feel like it looked like it should look, and me and Sean, we were just like, we got to talk about this. Like, this is the first time I've wanted to go read a book, pick it up at the store, and then review it. And then yeah, right. I started to read, and then that spawned all this, pun intended, with everybody else joining the panel. Now we do this on a weekly basis. So having you here is an absolute honor. So thank you for gracing us with your presence. We really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thanks for all the compliments.
I get that a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. So my first question. Oh, go ahead, Sean.
I was gonna say, we kind of wished this into presence years ago.
We did. Yeah, into reality.
And reality, all of it. So you're
taking credit for everything.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, I mean,
I know you guys mentioned it, so I was like,
yeah.
Oh well, yeah. If Todd asked me, yeah, sure, I'll do it for a bit.
Well,
and he asked me, so I was like, yeah, okay.
Todd doesn't know who the hell we are, but we like to think that we put it into the ether out there, and it just kind of found Todd, and he's like, yeah, Brett, I'm going to ask him. So we'll still take credit for it.
Has Thomas been on the show before?
Yeah.
So maybe he mentioned it to Todd.
Well, there you go.
Well, he did, and Todd's like, "Oh, Jimmy's good." And we're like, "Yeah."
All right. My question was, and I kind of said this before we went live, but I'm just going to kind of reiterate it again. I know when we had you on and you were getting ready to take over the main title, you were very excited to jump into the aesthetic look of Spawn, the cape, the chains, all that kind of stuff, because just the imagery that you could do. And then you were pretty disappointed to say, not disappointed, but just you jump on the book and they take Spawn's powers away, and for an entire year you get to draw a different version of Spawn. But now here we are, 361 hits, Spawn gets his powers back, and we're back into the regular world of Spawn. And now you get to dive into all the fun stuff, the cape, that big ass boot on his right foot that nobody knows what it's there for, but it looks badass, the chains, the powers. I mean, how are you feeling now, and what can we expect going forward? Because I got to imagine there's going to be some pretty awesome stuff based on 361, just the stuff that you were drawing, that we're going to see here in the next few issues.
Boy, let's see. It's very funny because it's not like a single character book. It's essentially because there's just a ton of characters coming up.
Oh, nice. You
saw the 3 and 361. There's another additional one that shows up in 362, and then in 363 you continue that story and as it build up, and then 364. I think most of the Scorched characters are in it, and then apparently some other characters from Gunslinger are going to be in it at some point in that issue. You've got I don't want to. It's not that big a spoil. Nyx is in it. Gaia, God's in it.
Oh shit!
So
Okay.
yeah, it's building up.
God's
So there's
huge. We've been talking about that for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We've been wondering what if God's going to come in. So that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had a lot of
he's-
theories going on.
I just drew him the other day. So
Oh, there you go, guys. There you go. There's some.
yeah.
I have a question for you, Brett, and I know you're a big anime fan. Well, not a huge fan of it, but I know you watch Dragon Ball and some.
Oh, I know where you're going with this. I got something for you,
Yeah.
Mitch, while you're bringing this up. Let me bring
Yeah.
this up.
Yeah. What were you watching that inspired you to do this pick right here? And have you been watching Solo Leveling? Because
I
good
fucking
question.
love Solo Leveling. That is
Yeah.
my favorite show right
I
now.
just started watching that today.
Oh yeah.
I watched it.
Oh.
Yeah, I watched Saturday's episode again yesterday, along with they
Yes.
released 2 of the dubs for the fight with the
Yeah.
the orcs.
Oh, so good, so good.
You just
Yeah,
made
so
Jay's
I-
night. I knew.
No, I'm a huge fan.
I
but no,
anticipated this.
God, what was I watching at that time? I don't know what I was obviously watching something. I don't think Solo
This lo-
Leveling was out yet.
This
And,
looks like
I don't
Dragon
think-
Ball to me.
Mhm.
Daima was out. I don't think Daima was out yet, but what was I watching? I don't know. I watch a lot of anime, so
Yeah.
It's funny because
Could have been almost anything. So
Yeah, yeah.
we've talked about it before. I mean, and if anybody follows your work, especially when you're doing a lot of stuff on Twitter and then your Patreon, where you were bringing a lot of that anime stuff into your style, you're kind of making it your own, or just doing pieces here or there, Dragon Ball or whatnot. But you can really
it doesn't
see how
sell
you're
super well, but it's really fun to do. So.
Yeah, and you can see that. I mean, and when we first saw this page, when we were reviewing the book, which by the way, this is my favorite page in the entire issue. Just the way that it's constructed, the amount of energy. But right off the bat,
God, you have
we
no
were
idea.
like,
I felt so terrible drawing that page because it only took me like 6 hours. The double page spread.
but
It's just a
it
bunch
works.
of little lines whooping all around.
But
And
it works.
I kept
It
adding
works so
things to
well.
it because I was like, oh, this shouldn't be this easy. It shouldn't be this easy. So.
Oh,
What I like about it though is sometimes the easiest stuff is what looks the best, right? And for the story,
Yeah.
for the narrative, and everything that's going on with it, you're depicting here these 4 pages or whatever of her, Nyx giving Spawn his powers back, and just the amount of impact this makes. And then this page hits, and it's just visually stunning. Obviously, the colors just make it pop as well. But right off the bat, we were like, there is that anime manga influence just shooting out, because there are a few things that have this kind of energy in the lines, and you could just feel it. That's why I wanted to pop this page up, because I figured if someone didn't ask that question that Jay was going to ask, I was going to bring it up. So I had it ready because I wanted to talk about this specific page and just how awesome it was. But yeah, 6 hours, that's incredible, but still.
Todd yelled at me
beautiful
for
page.
page 1 on this because he's like, you put too much work in it. It was supposed to be a really easy page. I was like, it was an easy page. I like to draw the little griggly things, the little on her face and stuff like that. That's fun
Yeah,
to do.
detail
So
is
it doesn't
crazy.
it doesn't take a lot of time.
Plus, I mean, you got Adelso doing a lot, going in and
he
noodling
does
that
add
stuff out.
stuff. So yeah, he does
Yeah.
noodle it even more. It's like there were some pages from the last issue. I was like, oh man, I probably should have put some more noodles on that. And then I saw the inks and I was like, oh, never mind. Adelso did it, so I'm good.
No, that's awesome. But yeah, I knew Jay was going to bring this up because we were just, this whole sequence right here is just, I don't know, it was odd. It was jaw dropping. It really was like just great
looks like an
storytelling,
eyeball.
visually beautiful stuff.
Is
Yeah.
that supposed to represent like an eyeball? Because it looks
yeah.
like an eyeball coming like.
The planet.
No, I was just trying to make it look exciting, and I spent more time on it because that was another page that took me like 4 hours, 3-4 hours max. I was like, oh god, this is just, it's too fast. It's too fast. If I don't spend like 6 or 7 hours on a page, I start feeling like I didn't put enough work into it. So
And for you to do these pages in 4 to 6 hours is insane, because it really comes out like so polished and so like unique.
that's a damn 30 years experience.
Yeah, shining through.
that I just gotta say, like, you and Adelso are the tag team artistic championships of the comic book world of a monthly basis. Like, everything you guys do together is like peanut butter and Nutella. It's perfect. And shout out to Adelso.
Yeah, shout out.
Oh no, he's freaking fantastic. So.
Just quick question here I saw from the chat from Eric, because he's always asking really good questions when it comes to this show, and actually filling us in with a lot of good stuff as well. He says, will Dakota make her presence in the main Spawn book at any point? Would love to see Dakota and Lyra team up. I know you're not writing the book, but I didn't know if you wanted to comment on that at all, Brett.
Just wait.
Nice. Got the Don in the house as Brett Booth. I've never got enough of your art, dude. Galactus size hails to the chat. Joe, Sean, Gooch, Zach, Paul. So much goodness on the stream. Great to see you here. We also have Steve Cannon, a very awesome colorist.
Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Yeah, doing some Spawn covers and work over there. Couldn't have happened to a nicer dude. I've been watching Steve for a while, and then just seeing him come up with his colors. So it's great to see him actually getting to work there. And getting noticed. So he says, Brett is the man. Spawn is the coolest looking book on the shelves for sure. Absolutely. Sean, I know you had some stuff. I just wanted to bring that up real quick.
Sure.
While we're talking, I'm just going to kind of probably cruise through this book a little bit just to give us some visual stunning stuff, like this page right here. But go ahead, Sean.
Well, it's not so many like questions because I've asked, remember when you drew this so many times, but I just want to say your design elements, like me and Paul are going crazy. From the angels to the last guy on the double page spread in green. Don't know who that is yet, but like it is just like just adding to our wheelhouse of like, ooh, like not stealing it, but stealing it for our own shit. And we
ripping it off. Let's go.
More. Yeah. So
I don't know if I should say the story about that guy in the green.
I want to know because we're all like, we want to know.
You mentioned this, and now you're going to talk about it.
No, he's specifically kind of based on somebody. It's specifically for I did made specific choices for a reason. But they didn't color him. They didn't tell the colorist what color they were going to color him. So
was it supposed to be red?
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I was going to go blue, but red was kind of an influence. But he colored it green, and I was like, okay, green's cool as long as we give him an Irish accent. But I don't think Todd did. But he's going to make him an Irishman.
So is this a brand new character then?
Yes, he's a new character.
Okay, because we were kind of debating on who that was in the last episode when we were going through the issue, because we didn't know if this was like what was that character's name that was working with Jason Wynn? Kind of like the ninja.
Oh, that guy. Yeah. No, it is not that guy.
Okay, that's what my speculation was. Okay, so brand new character. Nice. Looking forward to that. Nice.
Now, to piggyback on what Sean just said, the design to these characters, from like the cybernetic angels to the new demons, and now you saying God, how much input do you have in designing the characters? Are you doing that completely? Is it something they're bringing you some sort of designs prior? How does that go?
That's all me.
Nice.
Todd, yes. So I mean, what I do is I go and look at some of the stuff that's been done in the past, and then with like God, Todd's like, oh, he's a shape changer, so you can do whatever you want. So I just
when they juiced up the cybernetic angels, when they had they got the full makeovers, we thought those designs were so sick.
So one of those guys is Cable. Another guy is they're just a bunch of characters. I was like, oh yeah, I'll just use that. It's kind of a joke. And
nice.
Because Todd loves to kill people. So I learned on Gunslinger, don't put too much effort. Like, you can make them look cool, but don't play on them being around.
Yeah.
So just kind of riff on whatever you want. And
nice.
I think the whole beauty is because all the characters can die, but then they just kind of go to like the void and then they come back. So,
right. Yeah.
So, it's like, oh, you can kind of kill whoever you want whenever you want, and then just bring them back in a few issues. So
go ahead, Jay.
Thanks. I know that this isn't really Spawn based, but I know we're starting to see a lot of artists put out like the art of David Finch, the art of Kubert, Adam Kubert, and all these other guys. Are you planning to put out a book of just Brett Booth work?
Not really, no.
Man, I think that would sell so good. Especially as crowdfunded.
Time would be is an issue. I don't have time for that stuff. I mean, I'm literally so busy right now that I had thought about it. I thought about doing like Interdale House, one of the colorists was like, "Oh, you should just do like your Patreon pieces
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
part of the book." I don't know if I'd
Yeah.
have to go get rights to do that. I don't know if I'd have to
You
go
know, it's
ask Marvel
tricky.
and
I've seen some
see
people
about
do
that.
it.
So
You
Yeah.
can put the Scolari thing under it, like like on the bottom, like for Scolari review only, and like we have friends that have done this for over 20 years, and if they're getting
Yeah.
away with it, like what the fuck, you know?
Yeah,
I
that's
don't think DC would be too much of an issue, but Marvel might be an issue.
Yeah. I mean, that could be, but I
My-
definitely think it
that's-
would sell well, 100%.
That was my next question there, Brett. Like, with the state of DC Comics right now, would you ever want to return, or have you been asked to return to do some work for DC?
The last time I was, like, they asked me to do some covers, I think last year, but DC always asked me. Actually, I think the last time was might have been either the beginning of 2024 or the end of 2023. Ben Abernathy, when he was still at DC, asked me. It's for like the Justice League Godzilla thing. And I was
okay,
he's
yeah.
like, I really want to do 3 covers, and I was like, I don't have time. I
Yeah.
literally don't have time to do 3 covers. But I haven't talked to anybody, I think, since then. If I went back to DC, I'd want to do Wildstorm stuff.
Yes, there you go.
Yes.
And
Like, do it
I
correctly.
don't, I pitched them an idea a few years ago, and then they were back. And then they like did their new Wildcat stuff and so much stuff. So,
Well, you did
I
mention.
don't know. I mean,
you did mention last time we talked that you had some ideas for a book, and you're still kind of fooling around with it. I don't know where it's at now, if it's kind of like put onto the back burner for now as you're working on Spawn, but like writing, like, are you interested in doing your own writing and some of your own books, and maybe potentially do some stuff for like Spawn or even Gunslinger down the road?
yeah, actually, that's kind of what I'm kind of gearing towards. I think maybe after Spawn. I hadn't had any real conversations. I did mention it before about this character that I wanted to kind of mess around with, and he'll be making a new appearance soon too. So maybe we can do that after Spawn, but I'm gonna need a little bit of a break after Spawn. So
There's that. Jay's really in my head with a lot of this stuff, and I love it. But that kind of, it's similar to a question I was thinking. So we know that you've got the Lost Serpent Prince that you've been working on. It was coming out there for a while in that anthology book from, I can't remember who that was that you were working with at the time, but you're still working on it. At some point it's going to come out. Have you ever thought about seeing if it's a character you could cross over and be introduced? But if you do that, would that be like ownership would be weird? I don't know, but just to bring some eyes onto that character before actually launching that book, actually introduce it
in Spawn.
Yeah, like have it like, like a cameo or something,
I have thought about that, and Todd is actually open to that stuff. So,
oh, nice.
Cool.
Nice.
I wasn't sure. I was actually thinking about doing that with a different character, but then I found out that he had powers similar to Spawn's because I didn't know Spawn could do necromancy. So
oh, gotcha. Yep.
I was like, oh well, maybe that's not the best choice. So,
no, that's cool. I think that'd be a fun way to go because, as far as like the whole DC stuff or Marvel stuff or anybody else comes calling, I really think that, and you've had an illustrious career, you've done some great things, worked at every big company. But I really think that there's something special right now with your run on Spawn. And we all feel it. Like, it's just, there's something exciting about what you are bringing visually to the book, where the story is going, how it's being kind of written right now. And so I'm glad that right now that you found this way on Spawn, you're going to be on here for, like I said, probably at least another year. And I think this is awesome because you don't get an artist these days that gets a long run on books anymore. And so here we have a perfect example of what something can happen when you have a great artist on a great character and doing a long run. And here we go. Spawn is, in my opinion, really taking off. As new readers are coming in, we get new people in the chat all the time that are jumping in and starting to read Spawn. And a lot of it has to do because of the main book and your art. So I think it was meant to be.
That they're picking up stuff. That's great. But Todd loves that. He loves long runs. That's like his
Old
big
school.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's on it. he was like, "Oh, I was originally going to do like the first 12 of Gunslinger, and then I was going to take like an issue off, and then I was going to go do the next, do 12 more, so up to like 25." And he's like, "No, I don't want to break up the run. Like, we'll just do 2 like issues that are kind of short.
Nice.
So put some backup so that you can have a bit of a break because the schedule was getting close. We did really good to like issue 10, and then issue 10, like issue 11 and 12 were a little close to the deadline.
Yeah.
Because we had a good, good lead time. But then all the books started shipping, and then Todd's busy, so I was actually surprised I got as much time out of him, making phone calls and getting script and everything as I did. So I mean, I know, and that's a cool thing working with him on Gunslinger. I actually know what to expect. So, and he, I think, purposely does this. So like, I'll finish like a group of pages because he usually sends me groups. So I'm on issue 364. I got the first 9 pages. I'm on page 4, and then I'll finish those 9 pages, and then like 2 or 3 days later, I'll get the next group of pages. So I'll get like a couple days off.
Nice.
Which is good because then I don't really have time off because I usually wind up doing commissions or something else in the meantime. But it's easier for me to work with that way. So
I have a question for you, Brett. Actually, I got quite a few, but Attack on Titan, was this an influence on you for this one right here?
CJ, you're in my head. You're in my head.
No.
Okay.
I only watched the first season of that. I didn't like it that much.
Yeah, I can only get into like 2 seasons.
I kind of got.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the? I didn't really have like maybe Kaiju number 8.
Oh,
nice.
Oh,
I'm reviewing that right. Yeah, we're reviewing that right now on my channel on Thursdays.
That's a really good one. I like that one quite a bit.
Yeah.
10 o'clock Eastern. If you ever want to join, please join. But a question for you. So like I know you loved like dinosaurs, and you were really happy to add some of them into like Gunslinger. But I was just curious, like, would you, or do you even consider like doing kind of the horror, like doing some hybrid dinosaur monster like Capullo? Like he kind of ventured off, and he started off with horror, but he's kind of ventured and started like really getting more kind of like creepy, grotesque horror vibe for some of his designs. I was just curious if you were like going to play around with that a little bit more, like with the dinosaur hybrids.
I possibly when I do dinosaurs, I like to kind of stick to like the scientific research because that's kind of my other love is dinosaurs paleontology.
Yeah.
So I like to make them as accurate as I can, especially since most of the dinosaurs in comic books are terrible. They're just, it's like Jurassic Park is 30 years out of date and people are still using the Jurassic Park dinosaurs. It drives me up the wall. So Louis LaRosa is the god of drawing the dinosaurs in comics, though. So I bow down to him.
Well, you had I forget what you had. Like you had some kind of the dinosaur mammoth looking. I forget the creature that like the shoveling all the bodies into the hole.
Yeah, that's actually just a dinosaur with stuff shoved on it. So
yeah,
that was a cool design.
Yeah, there might be more of that. Yeah, it just gave him some mammoth tusks and stuff like that. It's a Giganotosaurus. So.
Was that at all inspired by Dino Riders? You can say yes if you want.
Yes, please.
No, no, I never watched Dino Riders.
Oh,
listen out.
I was a little old, and I thought that the dinosaurs looked terrible.
True. Oh yeah, well, art-wise, probably yeah.
What
I was more of a
about
kid when that came out, though.
Also bad, and I'm a little old for it. I know of it, and I actually did some redesigns. Like someone wanted to do a comic of that a while ago, and I did I did a couple drawings of it. Yeah,
nice.
We got Paul Essens in the house. It says, "What's up, Brett Booth's art is always great." Also, Michael Pritchard says, "Brett motherfucking Booth." See, we started that. We want 25 cents every time somebody says it. Guys, I do see some of the questions in the chat. We will try to get to those towards the end of the show. I pinned a couple of those. So if I haven't brought them up yet, just know that you might if we get a chance. I want to give the panel here a chance to ask a few questions first. So, Paul, though, I know you probably have some things you want to jump in here with.
Yeah, so you said 365, you're introducing new characters, and possibly you'll be on there for the next year, but are you confirmed for how many issues? Is there a point that you're like, hey, I'm here to 375, I'm here to 400?
No, but I was kind of thinking of 375.
Okay.
As like that's a good. Well, we'll see what Todd might have different plans or whatever. I don't know.
And then to piggyback on what you were discussing before, so then let's say 375, and then they have all these new Spawn universe books coming out. And if you were to, write and draw one of the books, which character would you be leaning more towards?
He hasn't appeared yet. But
Mm-hmm.
if I'm going strictly from the Spawn universe stuff that's already out,
Yeah.
or I'd like to do something I like Haunt a lot. Did you cover?
Oh,
yes.
that's awesome.
He was really fun. I really like She Spawn, but she's got her own book coming out. She's like my favorite after after Spawn and Gunslinger and stuff. She's just fun to draw. I like to draw her in like her regular form and then the She Spawn form. Because she's kind of got that kind of like a Trinity from Matrix look.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
With red hair. So
I think Haunt is really untouched, and I feel like out of all the Spawn books, like that's the one book that has yet to come out that like, especially this panel would be picking up. So that would be super cool to see that, and it would slay. So that's awesome.
Yeah. He's in. I'm gonna draw him soon. He's in this next issue. He's in this issue that I'm working on. So.
I was going to say, it is interesting with some of these other creators coming on and doing books within the Spawn universe. We have the Curse of Shirley Johnson coming out with Galapion and Enriquez. And that's a cool pitch that they came up with to jump into the Spawn universe. So it is interesting that Todd is kind of making that a possibility for some of the creators coming on and telling stories in this whole universe. I think that would add to something really cool. And I think people would love to see you get into something like that, because I like the Lost Serpent Prince stuff that you have written, so I like you as a writer so far. So I think you could probably tell a really cool story, and you seem to know what comic book fans like. So if that's on the horizon or a possibility in the future,
that's basically what I would like to do after I do this Spawn run.
Nice.
Is write and draw, because it's like as much as I enjoy working with like Todd and a lot of these other writers, because I mentioned, we said I have an anime influence that I just would love to be able to get down on paper. Because even like the Lost Serpent Prince isn't very anime. The other Parsec book, it's not very anime.
But yeah, still Wildstorm feel.
They're more Wildstorm. Well, the ones like the Flash and the Flash kind of story. It's basically like because they wouldn't let me do the Flash.
Right.
They wouldn't let me do Wally and stuff at the DC. So I was like, well, screw it, I'll do my own speedster. So,
exactly.
So that's definitely more superhero. The Serpent Prince is much more it's Wildstorm book kind of thing.
Yeah,
in the Wildstorm universe.
So I think your anime style would actually absolutely work. Like again, people, if you haven't been following Brent on his Patreon, go become a member, check the stuff out. He's always drawing stuff, putting things on there, and you get to see a little bit more of that influence come out in some of the not commissions, but some of the stuff he draws, especially when he's doing more anime or manga characters. And it's a really cool mix of what you're doing, and then just that slight like little tweak that you add in there. But it's I think a style that would really, really hit, especially right now with manga being so popular amongst everybody.
Well, getting back to solo leveling, do you have the books there, Brett?
I have I think I have the first 4.
Yeah, that's what I have, and they're damn good. Yeah,
I only read the first one because I was really busy at the time, and now I'm kind of like, oh man, I wish I would have read the other 4, but they're up in storage, and I don't want to go up and read through all my boxes.
So my next question to follow up with that, because like Eastern world right now is killing it with the storytelling and with everything like the manga and the anime and all that kind of stuff. Who do you like as a writer? You could either be from the North America or from the Eastern world, but like who do you like gravitate towards? Is is it an Alan Moore? Is it like Bendis or something? Like I'm just curious who you really like as a writer.
For like Western books, the writers that I like are older. Chris Claremont, Louis Simonson. The newer stuff, Jeff Johns. I actually like his writing quite a bit.
Yeah.
He can basically take any character and make them interesting. So I find that amazing. I don't read many modern books anymore.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Well, one, I don't read anything anymore. I used to read a lot, so I just like my time is limited. So I basically work till like 5 or 6, and I get on the workout, do treadmill for a bit, eat dinner, and then maybe watch TV for a couple hours. It's usually anime, and then I work again for a few hours and go to bed. So
Nice.
it's as much as I would like to read, and I did read. What is it called? I read it recently. Dinosaur Sanctuary. It's a manga.
I know what it is.
I'm reading
I was
Boruto.
gonna say Jay knows. Jay knows.
Boruto Tubular Vortex. I'm reading that. I'm enjoying that.
Have you seen any of the SSS Gridman series, the recent releases?
No, I haven't seen those. I'm not familiar with the property. That's
okay.
That's the one that looks like Ultraman.
Yeah.
Okay, I've seen some of the Ultraman. I mean, I used to watch Ultraman when I was a kid when it first came out. We only got the first 12 episodes, so I watched those over and over again.
Yeah. Now they have an anime of it that came out in like 2018-19, and there's like 3 series.
There's 3 seasons of it. The one on Netflix.
Well, for Ultraman, yeah, but for the SSSS Gridman,
okay, that's Gridman. Okay,
yeah, it's an anime now, and it's so bizarre, just really cool, funky like gestures and the fighting and the monsters and the
where's that at? What's that on?
I think it's on Roku, not Roku. What Crunchyroll? I believe it's on Crunchyroll.
Never heard of it.
Crunchyroll. Okay.
Yeah.
Crunchyroll.
Well, you're missing out, Joey.
Crunchyroll is the only thing that's on my TV right now. It's not like the only thing that's on there, but it's the only one that's like always on is Crunchyroll.
I have to
Netflix,
do,
but I only occasionally watch it.
I have to do. Selfishly, I saw this comment from Eric, and I just want to bring it up. It says Brett loves Reaper Destroyer, which everybody knows is my book, and I will say, I will just take that comment and say, like, yeah, that's awesome. Brett has read it, by the way.
I have read it. Yeah, I got my copy a few weeks ago.
Awesome. I was going to ask if that got there because I know I sent that out a little bit ago. Hell yeah, awesome. My question was, so we talked before we went live. You got this double page spread here to not end the book, but this was kind of like the end of the Spawn part of the 361. And we obviously get this new character that we talked about. We have Tremor there in the background. But what I really liked seeing was the Curse of Spawn design. And not too long ago, I want to say a few months ago, or maybe tail end of last year, we did a review of the Curse of Spawn by Dwayne Turner, his first like 8 issues that he did. And I always thought it was just a sick run, him and Danny Mickey. So I was really excited to see this. And to my knowledge, I have not seen this character pop up lately. Am I confused on that, or is this the first time he's really kind of popped up in a while, Brett?
I didn't even know he was an actual in a comic book before. I thought he was just like
really
an action figure kind of thing.
Oh no shit. Okay. Nice. Yeah, in the 90s, I think they did another series later on, but it was that it was just I always thought it was a sick design. So when I opened this page for the first time and saw that design, I was like, oh hell yes, Todd's bringing them back. So I was pretty excited to see that.
Yeah, because there's another character that I thought that it was only appeared a few times, but it is also a toy. The next issue, and Todd's like, I was like, which design do you like? There's like 5 toys. So he sent me the one he liked, so I was like, okay, that's the one I'll go with.
Hell
Unfortunately,
yes,
it's
toys.
the second most complicated one.
Oh, nice. Well, I mean, I thought this costume here for Curse of Spawn it seems like a pretty complicated costume with all of the line work, especially within the blacks there. So, I mean, it seems like it would be difficult to draw over and over again. But again, it looks sick. I'm excited to see it back. So I just wanted to ask that question. Badass Turner's in the house.
He's not super hard, but
oh, nice. Okay.
How long did this page take? If the other ones took 6 hours, how many hours is a page like this?
No, that's like a 2-day page.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of rendering on it and stuff like that. So
2 days to me is still crazy fast.
The first time with this costume back, I think that was like a day and a half.
Oh,
mostly
nice.
Because if you work it right enough, good enough, you can cover up most of the background with a cape. So it's way less drawing.
Hell
yes. You just draw a cape than it is to draw a bunch of buildings. So
I was just gonna say, but that's the beauty about Todd's
That was one
design.
of the reasons why I wanted to do this Spawn, because I was like, oh, I want to draw the
Exactly.
backgrounds.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's what makes it exciting. Paulus Art's in the house. He says, "Hail Brett, motherfucking Booth." Yeah,
What's up,
if
brother?
you guys, I love the chat. Love you guys, and especially that catching on. It warms my heart every time I see it.
5 years now.
Every time.
5 years.
Zach,
now.
you've been pretty quiet. I know you probably got a question. You're working down there in your Batman Spawn piece from the other day.
And may I say, you smell really nice, Zach. Thank you.
Yeah.
He's got his cologne on. He
Smell
took
like
a
juke.
shower. You know, got all gussied up. Yeah, go ahead, man. I want to have you a chance to talk here because I've not heard you yet.
So this is more tailored for me because this year I wanted to start taking a lot of the portfolio pieces that I'm going to be doing for my own personal stuff and start pitching a lot to see if I can try to get into smaller companies and work my way up. Do you have any advice for me if I was to go ahead and show my portfolio to Image, for example, even if I didn't have a project of my own to pitch to Image, but maybe that they probably have something small for me, and it's just on artistic levels, anything that they're looking for, so I can put notes down, so I can just work on it.
So that would depend, because Image itself doesn't actually make any comics.
Okay.
So you have to go to pitch to the studios or the creators who go through Image.
Okay.
So like Skybound, Top Cow, McFarlane. I don't know if Rob has a studio or anything anymore.
So it's just more of it's just more of like personal projects for a lot of the professionals and whatnot. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like a Ghost Machine, and I don't know, maybe, but yeah, if you want to pitch, like, want to work on like a certain book or with a certain writer, let's take Kyle Higgins and his Radiant Black stuff, you have to contact. I mean, go to just Kyle. I know. I don't know if he does anymore, but he used to go to a lot of shows. You can just kind of show stuff to him.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not like there's like it's not like Marvel or DC. It's basically like Marvel and DC with like IDW and then a bunch of other places. So there's no, like, basically all the Image Central office really does is they kind of okay projects for the creators who are coming in, and then facilitate the printing and stuff like that. They're not really involved with the actual production of the books, really. They're just kind of given the books by like McFarlane Studios or Ghost Machine.
Okay.
So.
And my next question is, working as long as you have had in the industry, what was maybe one of your frustrating moments working on a series, specific book, something in more of your personal challenges that you had to overcome to just to keep pushing forward as an artist? Because I know that just for me to try to figure out how to break in is difficult within itself. But besides deadlines that because they always expect top quality and always hitting your deadlines, what was some of your personal challenges?
That's a tough one because it's multi-layered. Getting on projects that you want to do. Some of the stuff getting like I still never really cracked the Marvel nut, at least recently, with the X-Men stuff. I mean, that's one thing that I always wanted to do. I mean, even working on other stuff like Alpha Flight and other projects at Marvel, it's like never going to happen, because what I would want out of it and what they want out of it are two different things. So you kind of have to, like, okay, well, it's time to move on. So but getting along with the editors.
Okay.
That's probably one of the hardest, because there's some editors who are freaking fantastic. They're great editors. And then there's some who are just like completely just total pains in the ass to work with. And then and it's just, and you have to get along with the editors to get work, because they're the ones who actually do the hiring, the writers and stuff. They can offer suggestions, but in general, unless like the publisher is like, yeah, give this guy work. The editors are all in charge of that. So
Yeah.
you know, getting
Editors.
in now, I don't really know how to do that because I didn't actually do that. It's my kind of got in, the 90s, so it was basically they're just hiring everybody because stuff was, books were selling millions of copies, and they're just hiring anybody and anybody to get in on this to get the work done.
Good old days.
Mhm.
Yeah, and unfortunately now it's like it's a lot harder. So, I've heard the way to do it is it takes about 10 years, what they say. This is from writers, so I don't know if it goes the same for artists. But you have to basically work in the indies for like 10 years before you get work at like Marvel or DC.
Let's do one more question, guys, and I want to jump to the chat. I got a couple pinned here before the show ends. Sean, do you have another one?
Not so much a question, but kind of a cool circumstance. How 20 years ago today, the 2007 New York Comic Con, the Saturday, I first met Joe. And when we were online, just kind of like getting to know each other, we were talking about our favorite artists, our wish list for what they would do, blah, 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 blah. And just so happens that this gentleman, Mr. Brett motherfucking Booth, was the guy we were just talking about the most. Like, would it be cool if he drew Spider-Man? Would it be cool if he did Daredevil? It's like, so, talking about you kind of made the line go quicker and got us in faster in that cold Manhattan weather outside the Javits Center. So
back when we were young.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Like, it's an anniversary, but it's just full circle in many ways. It's just a great honor just to chat.
I know, right? Yeah, except for the crossover, the Wildstorm.
That crossover, and it wasn't even Peter Parker.
I know, Ben.
You never know. You never know. Me and Joey will start talking about it, and maybe in like 3-5 years, you'll.
That's
be
just what we're gonna have to do.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Just the way he said that with that tone just makes me like fucking smile because he wants the OG.
Let me do one more from the Gooch and one more from Paul, and I'm gonna jump into the chat's questions.
I'm good.
Unless you got them, okay, cool.
Yeah, because if I start, then I'm going to start wanting to ask like 50 questions. So.
No, I got you, man. I got you.
Yeah,
Paul, you got.
Yeah, of course. We'd love to see you back at a New York Comic Con or San Diego Comic Con. I'm on the con scene. That'd be awesome. But going back to Spawn, so like they've done crossovers with Spawn. We just had the Batman one. If there was a great thing that happened and you were able to cross over Spawn with one other character that you could do a one shot for, which character would it be? Marvel, DC, anything of the above? Which would you like to see from your own art style?
Oh, I would love to do the X-Men, but Spider-Man or Daredevil?
Let's go.
Nice.
And I do have a question.
If we did Spider-Man, everybody would want Todd to draw it. So
good
so
point.
would I. So
good point. Yeah, good point.
Daredevil would be sick. X-Men would be sick. And I wanted to say one more thing in a sense of, I always get people graphic novels, every year for Christmas. And the one I always get people is that first volume of Gunslinger, because I know he tries to, I try to get new readers in, and it's just such a great book. Everything about it is amazing. And I just wanted to let you know that too.
I do have one more question.
Go for it, man.
And I just had a brain fart.
Come on,
dude. Brett, have you read the John Byrne series that he did himself on the X-Men? The
fanfic?
Yeah, the Else World.
The Elsewins?
Or Elsewin.
Elsewin.
Yeah.
No, I haven't read it. I haven't read it because I think it's all online, right? And
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna lose interest because it's online.
Yeah.
Because I need to be working. That's the thing. It's like during the day I watch YouTube videos, but I don't really watch them. I just kind of listen to them. So
yeah.
So if someone could tell me what was going on, I'd be happy.
I was looking at it today, and John Byrne, he's still got it, and the story's great. It's just a shame.
Check that out.
Yeah.
We got Christopher Rashad in the house.
Hello, Christopher.
Eric, I was going to bring this up too because I've been saying this for a long time. That the obvious choice to me to cross Spawn over with Marvel would be Ghost Rider. Like I can't believe it hasn't been done yet, or hasn't. Maybe it's been talked about in the past, but I think that would be the obvious choice to get those two characters together. Twisted Dream says Reaper Destroyer crossover with Spawn. Yeah, let's do it. I would pay to do that. All right, let me
How
jump to the
much?
chat. We'll talk behind the scenes. Get my people with Todd's people. We'll figure it out. We'll jump to the chat real quick because you guys did been very patient throwing some stuff in there. I tried to tag a few of them that I wanted to bring up before we end the show here. Henry says, Brett, are Jim Lee and Scott Campbell artists that have influenced your style? If not, what artists have influenced your style?
Well, Jim, yeah, but I got in with Jeff, so Jeff's more like a contemporary.
Yeah.
But we both go back to Art Adams.
Yes.
I mean, like Art Adams was the guy who got me interested in it, and I know Jeff has.
You can hear
he was a
Kayla
huge
from
Art
here.
Adams fan
I
too.
hear.
So I mean, those are the guys who got me.
Adams.
But Art Adams, Mark Silvestri, Wes Picasso, Walt Simonson, John Byrne a bit, definitely. I'd call John Byrne would influence George Perez. But I'm older, so.
Great names, though. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're going to be inspired by anybody, all those names make some amazing, artists out of people that are influenced by that. So, yeah, I really wish, like the people that we were influenced in our generation were, guys like you, obviously Jim and all of them as well. But I don't see enough. I don't think current artists being influenced by guys that were previous to them that like were actually killing it in comics. And I feel like there's a dip in I don't want to say quality of art because I don't want to bash people out there because there's a lot of great artists out there. Don't get me wrong, but comics, in my opinion, should look a certain way, and they just don't anymore for the most part. And I think it's because not enough people have been influenced by guys like who that you were influenced by or that we were influenced by.
Oh, I think part of it is too much realism.
Yes,
there's a backlash, no pun intended, against the
nice.
Stuff, and they went to a more realistic style. Now it can look really cool. I mean, if you're really good at that, it looks great. The problem is a lot of people they do realism, but they also manage to like put a little bit of extra stuff in it. And I think a lot of people like don't know about the extra stuff, and so they kind of go for realism, and it just kind of makes the page a little flat, a little lifeless.
Yeah,
and
like
so
Alex Ross.
It's hard. I mean, Alex Ross puts a little extra stuff in there. It's realism, but there's also that little bit extra. I mean, you can see like he'll and did pictures of when he was doing what was it, the DC one, Kingdom Come. And he's got the guy who did Shazam, and he has the guy posing for Shazam, and then you see what he actually did, and he like tilts the body back a little bit more, and he just uses that as a reference for shading and to get the little more realistic look to it. But he also uses some of the old classic comic book style stuff, where he pushes things, moves the stance a little bit more, just a little bit of extra. And if it's not in there, it kind of makes the stuff kind of look a little meh.
Yeah, I was going to say and realism is great and all, but when I'm looking at comics, I want that kind of fantasy dynamic element, which is what the guys that you say influenced you and the people that influenced us all brought. And that's to me why I think that your style is so good on Spawn, because it looks like comics should look, because you explore the exaggerated realism and you don't mind pushing the boundaries and doing cool shit, and like that's what I'm looking for. So
well, that's what I like. It's what I like when I read, manga or anime. When I watch anime, I like, the shonen battle manga is like the stuff that I love.
Well, we grew up old school, Brett. Like we like you probably grew up with Thundar the Barbarian and all that kind of stuff. And then when heavy metal came out, and then Akira and Ghost in the Shell, it was just like, oh man, this is what I like. This is the stuff I want my art to kind of look like.
Oh, definitely. I mean, as I said, I've been itching to kind of go a little more anime on some of the things, and I definitely I still will hold myself back a little bit because it's like, oh, it's Todd's book. I don't want to I don't want to just go straight anime on it, because that's not what he's expecting, and it's not what the Spawn fans are expecting. So if I get it like that double page spread, you get to do it a little bit here and there. That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, it was beautiful.
No, we're looking forward to that whenever you get a chance to actually do that. Another question from the tat. Well, I'm looking at Tank Ferret here and then trying to say chat at the same time. It happened. Tank Ferret says, very important question for Brett. Who is the greatest Teen Titan, Raven or Starfire, and why is it Raven have run in Dadland's call?
Sorry, you're wrong. It's Wally West.
Yeah, there you go. I know it's
followed by Nightwing. So
yeah.
I figured I saw, I was like, yeah, I gotta make sure I ask that. That's a good one. The Don in the chat says, Brett, the outline around Spawn's word balloons, is that indicative of when he has his powers? I don't know if you could actually answer that, if you know, because you're not the letterer, but I thought it was on there. It was a good question. I thought I'd bring it up.
Oh, I didn't notice. Does he only have it whenever he's doing Spawn stuff, not when he's just talking regularly?
I believe so.
I have a question for Brett.
Hold on a second.
I'm
before
wondering if it's like when he's like talking and it has the line outside of it, just expect it to be like an echo.
Yeah, I was I don't know. We'd have to go back and look through to see if that has been the case, but it's definitely back now, especially with issue 361. Twisted Dreams.
Then it probably has to do with his powers. Yeah, because he didn't have any powers before.
That would make
the symbiote was like keeping him alive, but it was just barely keeping him kind of alive. And now that he has his powers back, then yeah, I guess that would be.
No, it's all badass voice again. Twisted. I had to tag this because why not? Twisted Dream says, "What does Brett think of Reaper Destroyer?"
I quite enjoyed it. It was very much like the old kind of imagey books from the 90s. From what I remember reading it, because he sent it to me like a year ago.
I sent it to him. He was one of the first actually people. A lot of people did some not proofreading, but I had a lot of people read it and give me feedback. And Brett was definitely one of them, kind enough to get it and read it and give me some feedback. So I definitely appreciate that. But clip that, everybody, clip that and put it out there in the ether. He also gave me a really nice a quote to use, which I haven't used just yet. I'm going to use it for probably want to do the Kickstarter, but no, I appreciate everything, man. B.A. Turner, this isn't a question, so to speak, but he's got a book called Vigilante's Creed that's closing out on Wednesday. So everybody go check that out. Links are down below. Help him out. He's a really awesome creator. He's got some good books going as well. So check that dude out. Sheldon Martin said, what's your favorite drink while drawing and not drawing? It's an interesting question.
I can only drink like two things, so coffee.
There you go. I'm down with that. Yeah.
Decaf. I can't have caffeine.
Me too. Although I've tried to venture back into doing some caffeinated stuff, but usually it's been decaf as of late.
My wife got me this stuff. It's called. It's a lighter brew, but I actually quite like the taste quite a bit. So.
I've got, let's see, Henry's got one more question. He says, Brett, would you be open to drawing a cover for Reaper Destroyer sometime in the future? I'm just going to say TBA on that. Well, not a lot of people have gotten the book, and there's a surprise in there for everybody. Zach, I'm going to let you close out the show with your question, and then we will let Brett go and eat some dinner.
This is a question that I know that all of us are still trying to figure out when we're reading Spawn. Brett, I've been reading Spawn for as long as I can remember. How the hell can you figure out the power gauge level? How does that work? I'm being serious. Every issue, it always shows the power gauge level every time he uses it or he gains it. But what is that? Is that days, years, months, seconds? I don't understand how it works.
I have no idea. They don't give me that information. It's not in the plots. It's not in the plots at all. So.
That's what I was going to say. Who actually? We'd have to have Todd on and ask him that question. He might be the only one that can really answer.
Thomas might know.
That's true. Thomas might know. We'd have to get him back on the show. It's been a sec. I might have to reach out to him.
Super chat.
Joe.
Yeah. I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
So we always discuss this, and we almost miss not bringing it up. The interiors are, 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10. And, you know,
Oh,
we
yes.
want to get more readers on this book, right? How do we get more Brett motherfucking Booth covers?
Yes, that's what we
Yes.
need.
Do a petition? What do we do? What do we do?
Petition.
I did. I've done. There's a couple that haven't shown up yet.
Okay.
Good.
The my biggest problem is I like to do covers that have something to do with the interiors.
Yeah.
So I don't usually know what's going on until I get the script.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
if I don't know, like then there's a cover, and I don't know if they're gonna use it, but I got the script for you sent me the plot for 361, and on the last page he's like, hey, how about this guy for the next issue? And I was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, okay, so I do want to cover, but I don't know if you're gonna use it for that issue or not.
Oh man.
I
hope they do, because the only complaint we have is the covers on Spawn are just lackluster, especially compared to like the stuff that came out in the 90s or whatever. Like it's just and we're like,
Alex Ross style. It's that Alex Ross style. It's like too realistic, and it's got that painting.
And a lot of times it doesn't have anything to do with the story. You know, it's just kind of like this pinup, and we're like, why doesn't, you know, just, you could take something from the interiors and just make that a cover, and I think it would work. So yeah, Todd, if you're listening, well, you're probably not, just, you know what you should do? You should do is you should just draw something loosely and then send it to Todd, appeal to his ego, and just be like, dude, ink this up. This is gonna be a badass cover. You and me, let's go, and we'll see what happens. I think that would be awesome.
I don't know how to appeal to his ego. It's weird because he'll just want to ink stuff out of the blue. Like there's a page I did that first time I drew the Nyx as the zombie chick.
Yeah, that was beautiful looking page.
Like, hey, can I ink that page? And I was like, it's your book.
I called it.
Yeah,
you don't have to ask me.
It's listed in the credits, and that was the thing. Like, boom, right off the bat, I was like, damn. I was like, yeah, I would love to see Todd ink you a little. Obviously, I love Adele, so. But seeing Todd go over your line work, because he's a fantastic inker. Like he brings a lot to the table.
Oh
yeah,
and it's funny because Greg's like, you don't need to put that much stuff on there. But I don't want to get out of habits, because if I don't, when you get really good inkers, you can make shortcuts, and they'll, they know what to do, and they'll fix it, and they'll make it nice. But if you wind up, the book is running late, and you need to get another inker who isn't as quite used to working with you, or isn't quite at their level, those pages will always look way worse. So I try to keep the art quality pretty much the same through the whole book. And then there was a whole thing where I know some pencilers would like slack off on pages that they knew they weren't going to get when you split the original art.
Wow, yeah,
I think it's kind of a shitty thing. So
yeah. So
I don't keep a tab on that. So if I don't know, then I try to make all the pages look as good as I can.
No, that's a good philosophy. I like that. We do have a $5 super chat, and we will close out the show on this. Everybody that didn't get their questions in, I do apologize, but thank you for joining us in the chat. We have over 100 people watching all together. Please hit the like button wherever you're watching. Share the show out. Let people know that we're live. Come over to the YouTube channel, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and help us grow this thing. But Christopher Bouchard for $5 said, I can't wait to get my copy of Reaper Destroyer. And hello, Brett. Thank you, brother. Good to see you. Since that actually wasn't a question, let me just do this. Henry, who's always asking lots of questions, says, Todd likes to use Marvel method. Do you like drawing using that method better than full script? And we're going to end with that question.
Fuck yes.
Nice. There we go.
Yes.
There's a time and place for both. It really depends on the writer. Like Todd's like super loose, so he just kind of gives me like kind of loose plot, and I love it. I mean, he could actually go even looser. He could just give me the outline, and I could draw the whole book. But he gives me like page breakdowns and basically panel breakdowns. Basically just what's happening, and then he'll like give you like each action has its own special, give you space. So I'm assuming that's a panel. But if it's a really like dialogue heavy book, then it is best to have the dialogue, or at least some base dialogue in, so I know who's talking to who. When I did Titans, they had pretty much the final dialogue, which was, needed because there was, so many characters talking, and I'd have to basically lay out where the balloons are going to go before I would actually draw stuff, because I was like, okay, there's 5 people talking in this panel.
Wow,
so,
yeah.
and then I'll have to be worried because it could be like 3 panels later. It starts off with just 2 people talking, but 3 panels later there's 5 people talking, and I got to make sure I have them in the right order, so I'm not moving them around. This, they're not like the storytelling is correct from scene to panel to panel. And that's so that's like, to me, that's the best case for that. But I prefer myself, like when I do my own stuff, what I basically just do is write an outline, and then I just lay out on the board, lay out not on the board, but lay down on quick layouts on thumbnails on page on a typing paper, and then I just translate that to the board and draw from that.
Nice.
It's a lot more freeing and fun, because if something doesn't quite work, it's like, oh, I don't quite like that angle, or I drew that angle recently on this other page, I need to change it up, because sometimes, if it goes months between working on some of the creator own stuff, I'll forget what I drew before, and then, oh shit, I just drew that. I have to draw something else now. So, or if I've done this before, like I lay out the page, like I just drew that 3 days ago on Spawn, I got to change that. So.
Nice. Yeah, I think that method is probably the best for artists. Specifically, I mean,
it depends on who you ask, but I mean, I think most artists prefer the Marvel method.
So. A little freedom in there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, that you get to put more of you in the book. So.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. All right, guys, we are going to get out of here. We're going to let Brett get back to his dinner. Chat, you guys have been amazing all night. Great questions. I'm sorry I couldn't get to every single one. We will have Brett back at some point. Don't worry. Sometime down the line, we'll get him back, maybe around 375 or something, and we'll figure something out. But panel, thank you guys for coming. As always, great questions on the panel as well. I am just going to end the stream, so no outro or anything. We're just getting the stream to get done here. So I'm just going to say to everybody, be here for Ott and Stuff on Thursday at 8 p.m. We're going to actually start covering the Hush run, getting ready for the new Hush 2 that's going to be launching. So we're going to go over Hush a little bit on Ott and Stuff on Thursday at 8 p.m. And then join me back here for the Ronan Joe Show Sunday at 10 p.m. We're going to get into some fun things. So until then,
Joe,
everybody.
One second. Did you see that Jim dropped some sneak peeks on Instagram of the Hush pages?
I didn't, but we'll cover that Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Tune in Thursday. We're going to jump into that. Brett, thank you so much for coming on. Amanda B's in the house. Remember
Thanks
the channel.
for having me.
And remember, everybody, put the respect on his name. Brett motherfucking Booth. That's what it's going to be. Every time you say it, you need to say it just like that. All right, everybody, be good to each other. Take care of one another. Picture me naked, as always. Peace.